Hi everyone, this is Shaika, also known as Shy.
And hey, this is Christine, also known as Schmo.
And we are flawless.
Inspiration. But hold on. Why are you acting like you don't play games and you aren't goofy? Like, they want to see Goofy, Shy.
God. Oh God.
Where's Goofy, Shy?
I know, you calling me out, and you're right.
She's acting kind of like...
In the intros,
she's acting like we're at work, like...
And I'm
Come
such
on.
a mess.
Stop.
So yeah, I don't know, but you're right. Like, with the intro, I'm totally like, I see
She's
that
like-
you're... I see...
When she's on the interview, like...
I don't being all
And it's
uptight
shy.
and stuck up in the butt. I know. I know. I'm totally like very goofy. I'm very like, we crack jokes all the time. I act like a mess, and she's calling me out, and I have to own it. I'm being so fake with these intros because I'm totally not like a stuck. I'm not uptight. I'm not like serious. I'm totally not like that at all.
So
I don't know.
Goofy, show us a Goofy real quick.
Let me stop. Anyway.
I snort.
Oh my God. So today we wanted to discuss when you like having relationships and getting into a relationship when you have a child, and like how your partner will interact with your children. And from my particular experience, I am a product of a divorce relationship. My parents were married, and they probably got divorced when I was about 5 or 6 years old. I personally don't remember my parents being together ever, because I was so young, so my memory doesn't go that far back. I know my sister remembers, but I particularly don't remember. So for my particular situation, my mom had a child before she got married with my dad. He took my brother in with open arms, raised him, until until they weren't together anymore. And always still, was cool with my brother, like, respected him and cared about him, asked about him, made sure he was good and stuff. And then when my parents got married, they had my sister first and then me, and then they unfortunately got divorced. But I remember, for me particularly, like growing, like, when my parents remarried, that particular experience, and I personally didn't have a positive experience with those relationships, that of the people that they were with, and not judging anybody particularly, it's just that I just didn't feel like those partners fully accepted me and my sister, and that was just my personal opinion. Like, that's just really my experience. I don't know why that was. They may have different factors. I just didn't feel it was a fully acceptable situation, and I just think that, unfortunately, that definitely damaged my perception of how, well, not necessarily damaged, but it definitely had me questioning my parents. Like, why would you want to pick a partner that wants really nothing to do with your children? You know what I mean? And it wasn't fully like that, because my dad, when he was married to my stepmother, we did go there on weekends. We would spend time there and stuff. So I wouldn't say that she was objected to it at all, because she did allow us to be in her home and stuff like that, when my dad was there and stuff like that. But I just didn't feel the warm and fuzzies. And maybe she just didn't know. I mean, she wasn't a mean person, but we didn't really connect and have an individual relationship with her. And after we do have a sibling that was produced from that marriage on both sides. And like, my mother would always take us in with open arms, like my sister with open arms, but I don't necessarily feel like that was reciprocated. But I don't want to judge her mom, because maybe her mom didn't know how, or you know, or maybe she had her own reasons why she disconnected. I don't know, but I know my mom, she actually is still married to my stepdad, and we really never had a close relationship. And to me, it's just weird to me. I just don't understand it. Like, I do have love for him. I did have resentment to a certain extent, because it's like, I feel like, especially, I don't know if it's because I won't say it's a blanket, like it's a West Indian thing, because I don't think it's that, but I want to say that a lot of people from the Caribbean, in my opinion, especially like well, I can't even say that. Let me not even say that. What I'm just from my experience with my stepdad, I just feel like he felt like maybe he felt like he didn't have, that wasn't his place. But it's sometimes for me, I almost wanted him to feel like, because it's like, okay, if you say it's not your place to like discipline me or say anything to me or whatever, but then you would always, if you saw something, you would always report back to my mom, and then I would know it comes from him. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, you know, and it was only negative things. It's not like he reported back anything positive. It was always negative things, you know what I mean? Based on his perception of what he thought was going on in certain situations. And a lot of times it wasn't even the truth, but it's like, how are you going to really form a relationship with a child knowing how you're proceeding with the child? And then when the child becomes an adult, you're almost blaming the child for not connecting with you, but you're the adult, so you should lead that relationship, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what's your opinion on it?
So I've never had the experience, I guess you could say, but I guess I have to an extent. So when I met Jay's father, mm-hmm. I had to be very conscious of the relationship that I would have with any man, because I had a son. So when I met Jay's father, Jonathan was 13 years old. So he was pretty established who he was as an individual. So I was very conscious of that. It was very important to me personally that the man that I was going to be with would have a respectable relationship with my son. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be able to accept anything different. Mm-hmm. So if I was to meet a man and he didn't have a relationship, and so let me just say, if I was to meet a man and I knew that we were going to be building and potentially get married, and he didn't have a relationship with my child, I don't think I would be able to build with that person. That would be very important to me. And vice versa. I would want a relationship with a man and his child. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's very important. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, to me personally, that's very important. So I had that with Jonathan and my ex. They had a very good relationship. They bonded, thankfully. And I had no issues with that. Mm-hmm. So now that I am single, I have a daughter, and I'm very weird and crazy about who the heck I'm going to bring in front of my daughter. I'm not just going to bring any man in front of my daughter. He's definitely going to be the one. But I am going to make sure that he is going to be 100% accepting of my daughter. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I need to make sure my daughter is going to be accepting of him. Mm-hmm, you know? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think that is extremely important. They need to respect each other. Mm-hmm. There can't be no like, oh, I'm not talking to each other kind of thing. That's weird to me. Yeah, that's my own personal opinion.
I don't get, like, me personally, if God forbid me and Jose, my husband, end up breaking up and stuff, I would definitely never want to be with somebody that doesn't love and treat my child as if they're own. I just couldn't do it. Yeah. I could not do it at all. You know? I just personally, because, and I feel this way is because how I felt as a child. Yeah. Because you feel like you're not worthy enough. Because it's weird to me. Yeah. Like, you know, and especially when the person's been in your life for a long time and you really don't want to have, like, how, I don't understand it. Like, how can't you have a relationship with a child?
That's very weird to me. See, I didn't experience that because my parents were always together. So and then, that's all I saw. Yeah. But that would be weird to me. And I would be like that.
I form a resentment towards my own parents because of those situations, to be honest. You know, I'm not going to even lie. Like, you know, and my mother, I mean, I feel like she kind of I mean, obviously she is who she is, and she's not perfect, and she did the best that she could, you know what I mean? And I didn't live with my mom when I was younger, only up until maybe 5 or 6, and then we lived with our dad, you know, so, and it was just fine. I mean, that situation happened the way it was supposed to happen, and I'm not resentful to my mother because she had to do what she had to do, and I know the reasons why she had to do it that way, so that's not an issue for me. But for me, it's like, I just don't understand why you would want to be with somebody that doesn't want to connect with your kids.
Yeah.
Like, that right there is what bothers me. Like, she kind of fulfilled it because we spent so much time with her that I feel like she kind of masked us paying attention to that. But you do pay attention. Like, parents think that the kids are not going to notice or they're not going to be damaged by the disconnect, and you so much are.
Exactly, and to me, that's extremely important. So you have this resentment within, and that potentially could have ruined your relationship with either one of your parents. And I think that's extremely important, something that a parent should really
pay attention to.
Yeah, like, especially if you have younger kids, like, your kids are your top priority. Like,
in our opinion, at least.
Some people don't think that way.
Exactly, yeah. Some people really think that
in my opinion, your partner. No. Especially, like, if he's not your husband, like, they do say, like, how does it go? Like, your partner is supposed to come before your kid. That's me.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either. But anyway, so that's everyone's opinion. You know, we're all entitled to our own opinion. But to me, if I have a child already, and then I'm meeting somebody, and yeah, my child definitely has to come first, then I'm not gonna, like, disrespect my partner. I just feel like everything has to kind of, like, come together. Yeah, and like it has to.
Like me, I'm not gonna go forward with keeping a relationship, marrying the person if you don't mesh with my kid. Period. Point blank.
Yeah, and me either. I can't possibly imagine, and I wouldn't want all that, like, negativity in my home. Like, so just imagine, like, I'm marrying a guy and he's not talking to my child. Like, that's weird chemistry and energy, like,
and the kids weird. Feel when you don't like them.
Yeah,
they feel it. They don't. You could be nice too, and then the kids feel the difference.
Oh, the energy. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're like, something about it. Like, I know she doesn't like me, and a lot of times, I don't know if the other person is feeling some type of way because it's not their own kid, or maybe they feel like it's a connection to the ex, or I don't know what it is. It's just. I just think they just really I just don't understand how you could think that that's okay. Like, I just don't understand, because you're responsible for making sure this kid is raised up with morals, respect, confidence, worthiness and everything, but then you're with somebody that kind of doesn't agree to that,
like, and then if I was to meet a man, I would want to interact with his children.
Me too.
Because if I love him, I love his children. Right. I mean, I know that type of stuff doesn't come naturally. Especially, that would absolutely be 100% new to me, right? I'm not used to being with a man that, like, that would be new to me. Because when I met my Jalen's father, he didn't have kids. So he was fresh with no kids. I had my son. But if I was to meet a man today, obviously me being older, I would definitely meet somebody that has a child, and that would be a new thing for me to do, but I would have to be consciously aware of it. Yeah, I would want to interact with his children. Yeah. And if I'm going to eventually love their father, I need to love the children, respect their mother. Like, that just is something that I think is a total package.
Yeah, but some people, I think that they think that it's a separation, and
no, it's no separation. We're a total package here,
right? Like
the dog, the fish, the kids.
You're right. Whether the kid lives with you or not, maybe you don't like the kid's ways, but it's really not the kid's fault. So have patience for the child. Yeah, like, it's like, it's just, there's so much that goes with it, and I've seen, like, where people are with people that the person is, like, not caring for their kids, and it's just like, oh, that just breaks my heart for the kid. And then I don't want to judge people who are like that, because I really think that they particularly may have had experience in their own lives that maybe they don't know how. Like, for my stepdad, I really don't want to judge him, because he wasn't mean to me, you know what I mean? And And he was, you know, he's had his moments where I didn't agree with things that he's done, just like I'm sure no one's gonna always agree with things that I've done. You know what I mean? I haven't been perfect either, but like, I'm not able to easily just have a conversation with him, and that just bothers. Maybe I'm talking about because it really bothers me that. Because it almost makes me feel like you don't want to have a relationship with me, you know? And I'm getting emotional about it because I do love him as a person. Because I've known him since I was 5 or 6 years old. So it's like, why wouldn't you want to have a relationship with, like, why? It's just weird.
So maybe you should, like, talk to him and tell him how you feel.
No, I don't know. I don't know if the emotion is coming from... because
just talking about it, maybe.
Yeah, like I mean, for me, I feel like that ship has sailed because it's been like this for so long that how are you gonna change it? You know what I mean?
I mean, not change it, but really just voice how you feel. Like, this is how you made me feel. Like,
but I think that he's the type of person that he can't talk about things. So with somebody that is like that, you know, I don't want to press the wrong because I don't really know him either. Unfortunately,
that's crazy.
It's like I know him, but I don't really know him.
Wow.
And I'm 30-something years old, and so I really like he's somebody that I would always want in my life, and I even try to connect him with my kids, like as a grandfather and stuff like that. But I don't think that he wants that relationship. And I even asked my sister because that's her dad and stuff, and I'm like, well, you know, certain situations that have happened, and I'll explain why I feel some type of way about it. But she's like, well, he just feels like that, you know, if something goes wrong with the kids, he doesn't want to be blamed for it. And I'm like, that sounds weird to me. Like, what? What would you be... Like, it's like, why people have to think of things at a negative aspect? If you know that you have goodness in your heart, then why would you think, well, oh, she's gonna... What? Like, it's just weird to me. Like, you would think I would think something negative of you. Like, you've never done anything to me as a child. Like, he's never hit me. He's never... like yelled at me or anything like that. Maybe ignore me, which is not nice, you know what I'm saying? But and I think that he does like me as a person. I do think that he really likes me as a person. I just think that he doesn't know how to connect with people. I think that's what it is.
Possibly, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Possibly.
But it's just but then you could see that it kind of trickles because it's like, you know, my sister has kids, so he connects with them, but he doesn't really connect with my kids like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so you're showing the separation to my kids, and if the kids are like form their own opinion about you, then you're thinking that the kids are rude or whatever, but you're not realizing that you pay no mind to the kids, and the kids are clearly seeing a distinct difference in how you're treating them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's just... They
probably feel the same way that you have felt.
Yes!
Yeah.
Like, my daughter doesn't feel like that because she's only young. 4 years old.
Yeah.
You know, and he does pay attention to her. But he used to pay attention to my son, and as my son got older, he's like, whatever, you know, whatever. So my kid is like, my son is like, whatever now, you know what I mean? And he said things to me like, that's not my real grandfather, so I don't really have to call him grandpa or anything like that, you know what I mean?
Oh.
And it's just like, I don't want my son to think like that or you know, but I can't really blame my child either because he's going by how the person is treating him. Yeah. So you want him to have this level of respect and you want him to know how to act. Meanwhile, as an adult, you're not giving him that level of respect to receive it back.
Yeah, I mean, so just from an observation, because I've never met him, you know, like you said earlier, maybe he just doesn't know how to have that communication with people.
I think that's what it is, to
right?
be honest.
Like, because I don't know him, but maybe he just...
Because I feel like he is a good person.
Maybe he, you know, I'm going to make this quick observation, right? So maybe from him not really knowing how to have that connection with you, that obviously made you feel some type of way. So that made your energy more distant from him, and then he's reacting to your energy. So you have both of you reacting to each other based off your own interpretation of each other.
Yeah.
And he's reading you, you're reading him, but obviously that's why sometimes I think it's good to have a conversation.
I agree. I totally agree.
Even though, like, obviously you've known him since you were 5 and obviously so many years have passed by. But I bet if you were to tell him how you feel and you were to speak with your true heart and emotion, maybe he would say, you know, Shy, I thought you didn't like me. And it's not because of how because you have a good spirit, but maybe that's just you reacting to him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because let me tell you, right? Let's be honest. Let's use a different example. If you are acting a certain way towards me, I'm automatically gonna react to your reaction.
That's fair.
So then I'm gonna be vibing off of your energy.
You know what? And you're right. And how, in fairness to the person, if you never vocalize how you feel, how are they gonna know?
Yeah, and they can never fix themselves if they don't know.
That's true. That's so true. You know what I mean? I feel like that's highly important though. Like you know, like having the ability to be able to vocalize, like, dang, like, because it's like it's not to say that you're wrong, it's just like you don't realize the damage that you're doing by doing that. So maybe if you knew, then you would change that.
Exactly.
Or
so
try.
Maybe that would but like he might be like, wow, like I didn't want to ever make her feel that way. And you never know, he might really just change up and really might just completely just be a different person to Dante and your daughter. You know what I mean?
And not that he's mean to them.
Not that he's mean to them, but I mean, he might have a different relationship that he had with you.
Yeah.
Not that he treated you badly and poorly all the time. But you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe if you were to just voice how you felt and how he made you feel. Because sometimes I don't know how I make you feel unless you tell me how I make you feel.
I think that you know what holds me back, especially because and from how I was raised, we always raised to kind of like, especially when it comes to adults, like you gotta act accordingly when it comes to an adult. That's how I was raised.
Yeah.
So like if an adult is in your presence, you stay quiet. Like they know better than you do. It's like you can't even say anything or have an opinion because you're a child. That's just how I was raised. So with that being said,
no more. So now you're an adult.
True. And it's almost like I have that image because he's still an adult, older than me. So it's like I have that level of respect.
And it's not that you're not respecting him. You're just now an adult, and you're saying, hey, you know,
that's fair.
I want to talk to you as adult to adult. We're both adults. I want to always respect you. I have the utmost respect for you, and this is how I feel, and this is how you make me feel. And I'm wondering, do I make you feel some type of way? You might make him feel some type of way.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe
not that you're a mean person.
Yeah, I think that there's probably a lot that goes with it. Why he might have shied away from kind of having a connection.
Because my father unsaid words.
Yeah, because I live with my father. You know what I'm saying? My father was obviously always present. Him and my mother co-parented well. You know, in my opinion, and such. You know, but maybe he felt in some type of way because obviously, like, you know, they broke up, like my parents divorced and then he stepped in, you know what I mean? So you never know how he might have been treated by other people out, you know what I'm saying? That maybe formed how he treated us as children because maybe, you know, some people didn't like that my mother moved on and with that being said, they may have judged him because of her choices. And then he's like, you know what? Well, I'm going to stay extra cautious because I don't want anybody
thinking that I'm trying to be her father when she has a father.
Right. It could be that. Which, you know.
And then it just kind of trickled down where he just kept that same.
mentality. You know what I mean? Because I really think that he is a good person. I just think that he has a lot of bad ways, but I think that he's so used to being the way he is that he doesn't know how else to be, you know. But it's just like you can't. To me, to a certain, you should. It's sad that you close yourself off. I almost feel sad for him because it's like you close yourself off so much that you don't even realize like you're the one that's closing yourself off. It's not the other people.
Yeah,
it's you.
And that happens so much, though. That happens so much in the world, though. Like a lot of people, I know. Couple of people that just really just close themselves off, and that's just how they deal with their issues and their pain, and they're just so used to that. I don't want to say dark place, but that place that they're in, that they're almost afraid to be in any type of other atmosphere.
And I just feel like if you know that you're a person that can't deal with somebody else that has kids or other people's children, then don't get in a relationship that you know that you can't handle that. Like you shouldn't do it.
I don't think people consciously.
Maybe they don't know until they experience it.
Maybe, or they. Oh, that was that was thunder, guys. It scared the crap out of us.
Oh god!
The dog. Oof. The dog is like.
So maybe it's because they don't even realize it until they're actually in the situation. And that probably could have been the same for like my, for both sides.
He probably didn't know.
Because he didn't have children before him and my mom got together. So he didn't know
what he was taking on.
He didn't.
He was like, here I am going into this. It might be easy breezy. Yeah. But it's not easy.
It's not
and
easy.
You don't know,
because some kids will resent the person just because
you're with their mother now.
Yes.
And you're not my father, so I don't gotta respect you kind of mentality.
But then again, too, that comes to the parent instilling in their kid, like, you have to have a level of respect.
You do. I 100% agree. But sometimes parents don't check their kids. Let's be honest.
That is true.
You know what I mean? So like, I would be like, no, you gotta respect him, but the parent's not around 24/7 when the other parent's there. Like, you don't know
what was going on either.
And maybe that parent is like, well, I'm not gonna tell every single time that child is like kind of disrespectful.
Right? That could be too.
You know what I'm saying? But I think that I know there are women and men that get in relationships that don't necessarily vibe with the child, and that's not really acceptable behavior in my opinion. Obviously, to each his own, and you can act accordingly, but to me, I think it's very important that you really try to maintain a relationship for the sake of your relationship with that person.
Yeah, because your relationship could then end up being tarnished, and it could dissolve because of that, just with the children.
Yeah.
Because children will break up a marriage.
Yeah.
Money breaks up a marriage.
Like money's probably number one.
Money is number one, but children is number two, I would say. So I don't know. I just feel like that's so important. Like, if you are in a situation that you should pay close attention to how your partner is treating your kid. Like, I don't know, that's just super important to me, because these kids are very impressionable, and some people would be like, I just don't like the kid. Well, why? Like, kids are not just anyway for no reason. They're not. It's not the kid's fault.
Kids can pick up all types of stuff, like your energy.
Kids are more sensitive intuitively than us as adults. Like, realistically. So even though you may not think that the kid knows that you don't like them, I'm pretty sure that they know. They know it and they feel it, and then it's like sometimes people do it when it's like they'll have a relationship with the kid when it's convenient for them. Like, only for their convenience. And it just seems, I don't know. I don't know. I just feel very strongly about that. Like, I personally just would never want to be with somebody that doesn't accept my kid. And I would make sure that I damn well know for sure, like, they are good with my kid, because if I don't know that for sure, I'm not moving forward with that person, period, point blank. Because to me, that's super important. But some people want a relationship so bad that they'll sacrifice that. They won't even care.
Yeah, that to me is very important.
And how are you gonna separate it? Like, how would you separate that situation? That's just so crazy to me.
That to me is extremely important. Like, I need to see that vibe. Like, because first of all, I don't want no craziness in my home. Like, if I'm gonna be on some real serious, like, with some guy, like, I want to be able to have peace in my home. I want the energy to be peaceful. And if your child and your significant other is going at it, that's not a peaceful environment for me. That's not. Like, not for the whole family. That's not a peaceful environment. That's not a peaceful environment.
Even if I was like that partner that didn't care for the person's kid, you ignoring the child is, to me, that's not good either.
No, that's not good at all.
Because it could be not anything crazy where you're fighting and arguing, but you just simply ignoring the child and acting like they don't exist doesn't help the situation either.
No.
Or you judging the child and acting like the child is so wrong and terrible. You know what? They actually went through a separation situation. So have some sensitivity for that experience.
Yeah, we have so many, like, children are very impressionable. Like, I think that we have such a huge impact on children.
And then the whole, it's this one's fault and this one's fault. It's the both parents' responsibilities how the child, and like, it's both of y'all responsibility. So I hate when people, even when they separate, they're like, oh well, the mother allows this or the dad allows this. It's like as if you don't have any say so in that matter.
No, it's both of y'all.
And that's weird to me too, especially because my parents were separated, but when it came to decisions about me and my sister, best believe both the parents were coming together and figuring it out, and they both made sure that it was handled.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh well, I said this and they didn't, which I know unfortunately that doesn't always happen. You know, there is conflict, but you have to set aside your conflict with that person to make sure that the child is right.
Yeah.
Let everything aside to make sure the child is for the child. You know, if you have a function, like I remember we used to have birthday parties, and I used to live with my dad. We used to have birthday parties. My mother was present. You know why? Because everybody's going to accept that that's my mother. She's not going anywhere. She's always going to be present. So therefore, she's going to be attending every event.
I think that is amazingly beautiful. I think that's beautiful. And I think that, like, when people go through something, you know, obviously it's not good at the moment. But me and Jay's father were there in the beginning, and then kind of things went weird. And now I hope to get there again. You know what I mean? Like, I would invite Jalen's father and his fiance. Absolutely. I think that is beautiful. Like, I want Jalen's father to feel accepted by my family and friends.
Because at the end of the day, that's Jalen's father. And at the end of the day, he gave you a beautiful child.
He
so
did.
if not anything at all.
Yeah. We don't need to bash Jalen's father.
Right.
And it should be vice versa.
Right.
His family does not need to bash Christine.
Agreed.
We were in love at one time.
Exactly.
Therefore, we should not be bashing each other.
Exactly.
And we should be present.
Right.
Important events.
Right. It's like you could have your personal opinion that you don't like about the person.
Yeah.
But the person was the same person more than likely how you met them.
Exactly.
You knew how they were and you overlooked it. So
boom, bang, tickety tang.
So why?
That's true. Like,
right?
I just had this conversation with one of my friends, and he said the same exact thing. He thinks it's so crazy when people do that because it's the truth.
And you making yourself look crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
this person's like this.
But you love them.
Right. But the thing is that you're so quick to judge. But when you were with them and you were doing it too when you were together, it was okay though.
Exactly.
But now that y'all are not together, then it's a problem.
Exactly.
And then people be, oh, she does this and she feeds the kids this. And when y'all were together, y'all were doing the same exact thing. Now that you're not with the person, now it's like this person's all wrong and you're right.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's just like there's no right or wrong or indifferent. Y'all need to come together. Come together for the kids. Because it's about the kids.
It is. That's all it's about. It's not about you guys. Or it's not about me. It's not about Jay's father. It's about Jay.
It is about her. Period.
It's not about us.
Y'all could hate each other till kingdom come. But y'all should smile and grit and then for the child. Now, if the person is like gonna cause damage to your kid, or the child's not gonna be safe, that obviously you have to use your better judgment of if you want to expose your child to that. You know what I mean?
And I just put on Facebook, I know you saw it.
Yes.
Like, I think as women, especially us women,
I've seen we do that a lot.
We always try to hold the child from the father. Like, to me, that is just,
or vice versa. Some men have done that too.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, yes.
Absolutely. And that is so damaging to your child.
It is.
What are you doing?
Because at the end of the day, that's their parents.
Women and men need to stop doing that because they're so hurt in their feelings that they really be like, no, you ain't seeing my child. Like, I just don't understand that mentality.
It's selfish. That's what it is.
It is. Like, I don't want to talk about what I've been through, but I went through hell, and I would never give that back.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. I would never give that back. And my daughter loves her father. My son, I would never keep my son from his father when he was a young boy. And things weren't peaches and cream with either one of them. And I'll just say that, like, I've never had that mentality because the only one that your child will resent is you.
That's
you know what I'm saying? Your children will always learn the truth on their own. You don't need to bash the other parent. Your child will always learn who an individual is. You just need to be a parent and that's it.
Exactly.
You don't need to bash your child's other parent. Like, that to me is just disgusting. I hate that behavior. Like, don't talk bad, whether you're a man or a woman, about the girl or the husband or the wife or this or that. That to me is just disgusting. I do not like that.
And how do you look when you were with the person and had the child by them?
Exactly. You love them.
You actually look bad. You look bad.
Yeah.
You look bad. Because at the end of the day, you're talking so much trash.
Now they're this, the other, that. Like, that type of behavior really needs to stop, because that's why there's so many broken adults walking around, because of all this stuff that was put into their heads when they were young. Like, that type of behavior just needs to end. Like, it just really does. Like, I am just an advocate of that. You won't ever catch me. Let me tell you, things were not great. Peaches and cream with me and Jay's father.
They weren't.
But you won't catch me talking crap about Jalen's father to Jalen. You won't. You just won't. You won't. And I went through hell, and you won't. Because you know what? That's Jalen's father, and she adores him.
And it's so damaging when parents do that, man. It's so damaging.
It is damaging.
Because I've had people say so many negative things about, my parent. And it wasn't about my dad mostly. It was about my mom. People that weren't even in the situation used to say so many negative things about my mother. How in the world do you think that me as growing up would feel, though? Like, how the hell... And especially these same people... I remember, like, a few people specifically used to say some terrible things about my mom. And it's like the same purpose in us saying these things. You never even did anything to help the situation. So why are you even talking?
Yeah.
Shut up.
And why are you...
Shut up. First of all, you're only hearing one side of the story and not the full story, first of all. Second of all, you know what? No one's freaking perfect. Not even you are perfect. We just don't know what you did. That's why you want to talk about somebody else. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I remember vividly how much people used to say so many things. And at the end of the day, my mother is a freaking amazing mother, yo. She wasn't perfect, but she was amazing. Whatever her choices, right? Whatever choices that she made were the best. Because you know what? I am who I am today because of that choice. And I feel like me and my sister have a well-rounded experience because of that choice. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's not traditional for children to be with the father, but he is a parent just like she is.
Yeah.
Why is it a problem that the dad is taking that responsibility, like for you to live with them versus the mom? It's an equal. They're both parents. He should be just as responsible for caring for that child just as the mother.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, my mother was literally always present. She was always present. I like to the extent that we live with our father, but when there was no school, I was with my mom. When there was anytime we weren't in school, literally, I was with my mom. I didn't even have friends in the town that I lived in because we used to always be after, when we from Friday on, we were with our mom, and she would drop us off on Sunday, and that's it. And then so we would spend the whole summers with her. You know what I mean? Like so my mother literally was always present. Birthday parties, she would always be there. If it was at my dad's house, my mother was right there. You know what I'm saying? My father, we lived with him. He provided us with the food. My mother would get us our clothes. She would give us spending money for other things, like, so they had that agreement, you know what I mean? And it worked out well, you know what I mean? Yes, they weren't perfect. Yes, there was tension at times, but they tried to hide that from us as far as my parents. But there were other parties that would have things to say, you know what I mean? And it's like, how dare you? And what the hell do you think that I'm going to grow up? I'm going to grow up a certain type of way with you saying those things. Why would you say those things? They used to say nasty things, things that kids shouldn't even know. Why are you saying these things about my mom? Yeah. To me.
Yeah.
What my mother does and what she doesn't do has nothing to do with me.
Yeah,
what is important is how she is to me as a mother.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that part.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that part. And she was freaking amazing. You know what I mean? Because I literally, because of my parents, I feel like I'm a strong individual because of my parents. I'm very conscious of how I treat people. I'm conscious of myself as a human being. I'm conscious of making sure that I'm a great contribution to society because of my parents. You know what I mean? And for somebody to go and tarnish that view of my parents, that's like disgusting. It's fucking disgusting to me. Because I would never tell somebody's child how, I could know so much effed up things about a person, but I would never tell their child that. I would never do that. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
And it's so hurtful. Like, it's so hurtful that people are so miserable that they would go and do some shit like that. You know what I mean? Who does that?
That's not nice.
And it just makes me angry.
Yeah.
It makes me angry because, you know what? I didn't have to have these hurt feelings because of what they said. You know what I mean? Especially like what my parents went through really has nothing to do with with me and my sister. It has nothing to do with that.
None.
But people just felt the need to have to tell us that shit.
Mm-hmm.
For what? What are you gaining out of that? What are you gaining out of doing that?
People are just unhappy.
It's just sad. Yeah. Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
People are just very, very unhappy.
It's just disgusting, yo. Like, seriously, and you say you have love for me? If you really have love for a person, you would never do that to somebody. You would never. And these were family members that used to do this shit. It wasn't even outside parties. These were our family members. And I remember it all. And then I'm angry. You know, you would think that you would get over it. I'm fucking pissed. I'm pissed because... especially me having my children, you know, it's just terrible. It's just terrible. It really is. Like, if I witnessed it on my own, it's one thing. But, like, come on now. You don't do that to people. Mm-mm. And it's crazy because my mother knew that people would say things and she would never say anything negative back about the person. Even if my dad would say negative things about my mom, she would never say anything negative about him. She would just always have to defend herself. You got to keep defending yourself. You know, imagine how my mother is freaking strong as hell for all that beating that she went through. You know what I mean? You know? It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Like, we need to do better, man. We need to do better. There's so much, like healing that people have to do. Like, it's like I said, you know, like I forgive. Like, I am mad and angry about it that it happened, but I forgive it. You know what I'm saying? Because clearly the person didn't know better that they did that. You didn't have anything better to do than to do that, so you did it. You know what I mean? But it just, why? Mm-hmm. Why? You don't like my mother that much that you want to say it? Are you jealous? Like, what is the issue? Like, what is it's like, I feel like, you know how I'm the type of person, just like I know who you are. You want to understand what would lead somebody to do something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
Yeah.
Like, when my dad did it, I knew it was a place from hurt. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he wouldn't just straight up bash her, but he would just say certain things. Mm-hmm. And I think that my father was just telling his truth. You know what I mean? And based on his perception of how things went, you know what I mean? And he didn't do it like profusely. He just did it on occasion, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, but I know he was hurt because he wanted it to, he always believed in marriage and he wanted it to work and it didn't work, you know what I mean? My mother was a young mother, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, as an adult, I have an understanding to an extent why she did what she did, like why she made those choices, you know what I mean? You know, and no one's perfect. You know, no one's perfect though, and whatever happened, like, it is what it is. But she was an amazing mother to me, you know, and I'm just so grateful for that. I'm really grateful for that, you know, and she didn't have a father. She, you know, she grew up it was rough for her when she grew up, you know what I'm saying? She didn't always have her mom present because my grandmother, she came to the United States. My mother's not from America, but my grandmother came to the United States, tried to make a better way for her family. And with that, the sacrifice of having not to live with your mom, you know what I mean? And a lot of people in the Caribbean are not raised by their parents. Like, my parents were not raised by their own parents. So it wasn't weird for an aunt to raise the child or things like that. But in America, and the way America's view is, they feel like
it's weird.
But whose job is it? As long as a child is raised properly, that's what matters. But people always make a focus on who the child is with, you know, and it's just like, we gotta do better. Yeah. Stop worrying about it. Stop judging people. Like, come on. It's like, you know, because sometimes people have to do certain things because my mother had to do it because she didn't have help. That's point blank, period. There was nobody that was going to help her with us. She was a single mother. She didn't have, you know, after they separated, she the best choice was to leave her kids with the father. She didn't want that necessarily. They fought back and forth about it, but that was the best choice because she moved to New York. She didn't want her kids going to school in New York. You know what I mean? My father had siblings. My mother has no siblings. You know what I mean? So with all that being said, no one was willing to help her. No one was willing to help her. So she had no choice than to buckle and say, you know what? I'm going to leave them because they're with their father after all. I know that they're safe. He loves them. He will treat, you know, raise them right. And she's going to be there by our side 100%. And she was. You know what I mean? But, whew, I had to vent about that. But at the end of the day, you know, it just made me sad that people used to do that to my mother. Like, used to say such negative things. And it's just like, it's so sad.
It is sad.
You know? And then when the kids grow up a certain type of way, then people wonder why. You know what I mean? And I think that me and my sister are phenomenal how we are right now, considering, You know what I mean? Considering what we've been through.
Absolutely.
You know, but you know why? It's because we
are beautiful. Not just like outer beauty.
Thank you. It's really good to kind of make sure that you have a good communication with your kids, and make sure that, you know, with that partner that you choose, make sure that they love on your kid, man, because you don't never know how your kid is feeling. Ask them how they feel about it. Like, it's so important. Don't ignore it. Don't think that it's okay. In my opinion, I think that that's just, you're tarnishing your relationship, and you may not, for the sacrifice of having a love, you're sacrificing another love. It's just like, you shouldn't have to sacrifice anything. Because anybody that asks you to sacrifice your relationship with your kids and separate that, to me, is not going to work out. It's not worth it, nor will it work out, in my opinion.
I agree.
You know, the person maybe don't think that that's a big issue, I guess.
Possibly. To me personally, it would be, but maybe to the next person it wouldn't. I don't know.
It's just, I just don't understand it. That's my thing. I just don't understand it. Maybe your partner can't, or maybe the partner doesn't know, but to me, those are things that you should explore before you even go there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, and I feel like some people are so quick to just be in a relationship and don't even really know the person, and then they figure out these things after the fact.
Yeah.
And it's like, why you keep doing that? Like, why are you going to keep going through the same cycle?
Well, because we're all, not you and me, but we all as a society are so thirsty for love and attention that we are just willing to really just accept anything for that moment of just being accepted by another person.
Yeah, and you almost sacrifice like the connection with
so many people sacrifice that.
Yeah, you better be careful, because your kids, when you get older, those kids are going to be the ones that's going to take care of you. Be careful how you treat them kids.
Yeah.
I mean, not all, some kids just leave and go about their business, but I feel like if you have a close relationship with your kids,
I was just always,
they'll always be there.
Absolutely. I was always conscious of that when raising Jonathan, and I thought about it. And actually, when I was thinking about moving in with my daughter's father, I actually really said, Jonathan, do you think this is okay? He was 13. So I was about to change his life as well as mine. I said, do you think we should do this? And he said, yeah, Ma, I really like him. And it was just as important for him to be okay with it than, as well as for me. I wanted him to be okay with that. I was changing his life. You know what I mean? Are you okay with this? I'm about to change your life. So we're in this together. Because, we were by ourselves for 13 years. And then here comes this man
coming in the picture.
Yeah.
And you don't know how he could have felt about that. Especially being a boy himself.
Exactly. So I feel like that's why my son has so much respect for me. You know what I mean? He definitely has respect. He's a very respectful kid. And I think that's because I always
chose him first.
Exactly. That to me is extremely important. I know how it feels, or I can imagine how it feels not to be chosen first.
It's oh, yeah, I think we both, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I used to think that I wasn't chosen first, and I think that's why the hurt is coming from, to a certain extent.
Absolutely. That's a lot of stuff that used to
or it may not even be the step parent's fault. Maybe the parent themselves made the step parent feel some type of way. That's why they didn't want to, because I don't know what my mother said to my stepdad. She could have said, well, don't act like their father because they have one. She could have said that, and that's why you never know. You never ever know.
You don't know. That's why I said that maybe a conversation would be important, because you have all this.
Because I'm forming my opinion, and I don't know the
your
reason.
assumption based off what you think.
Yeah.
And it might be completely wrong.
Right.
Because I've been wrong. I've assumed many things.
Yeah, there's so many people that assume things, and you have no idea unless you ask the question, right?
Yeah.
And you have to understand where the person's coming from. Because a lot of times for me, I have to kind of know, after talking to people and knowing how they grew up and stuff like that, then I have a better understanding of why they are a certain way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be mindful of that. I'm not going to just come off the bat and just be like, oh, this person's just nasty. No, it's just like, I want to understand it. You know what I mean?
You have to understand where it's coming from.
Why they had the situations. why? With my mom, how did she grow up? My dad, how did he grow up? Why?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I think it's so important when getting into relationships that you really just understand who you're getting in a relationship. You understand their past. You understand who they are as an individual. I think so many of us just jump into relationships and we don't understand the person. And then when a year passes by, you're like, oh, it didn't work out because this and that. But if you were just to understand the person rather than just jump in, you have to understand what makes that person.
Yeah.
You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
I think that we are just so desperate for love and a connection that we fail to realize, well, let me get to know this person.
Yeah, like really get to know them. Don't just look at the surface and how they're treating you. Look at the whole
package. A lot of who they are and what they've been through in the past will definitely play in who they are as a person.
Right? That's true. That is so true. So, yeah, there's just so much that goes into it. At the end of the day, these are, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just it's highly important how I raise my kids because I want them to be great contributions. I don't want them to be damaged. I'm not saying I'm the perfect parent because I know I falter. You know what I mean? But I just try every day to do better. That's all I try to do is try to do every day to do better. No one's claiming to be perfect, but all you can do is try your best.
No one's perfect.
At the end of the day, I'm always, you know, like even with my son, like when he used to vent to me about that, my stepdad and how he used to treat him and stuff like that, you know, he would, and it's not stuff that I said to my kid. That's the funny thing. I never said anything to my son. He formed this on his own, first of all. And second of all, I'm like, you know what, Dante, even though you may feel like that, make sure that you still have respect because at the end of the day, I'm raising you to be respectful. So you might, while I respect your opinion, because to me, his opinion matters. I'm not going to tell him to be fake like other people tell their kids to be fake. Smile in people's face, and just because I tell you to do something and act a certain way, you're going to do it. No, because you know what? Those same kids are going to grow up to be fake and fake in people's face and not keep it 100 with people. I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing that. And with that being said, you know, I'm like, you know what, Dante, you may feel that way, but you remember, at the end of the day, you got to respect. I was like, because you know what? He may not even know how to. So you have to learn how to to have the understanding of that, you know?
He may not know, but you know.
Yeah, and even when I see my stepdad, I'm always say hello to him. I always, you know, to my kids say hi, you know what I'm saying? You know, because, you know, everybody needs love. Even if he may not even be able to give it to my kids all the time, everybody needs love.
Absolutely.
I mean, just because I'm hurt or I don't understand, and sometimes I'm even angry with him at times on how because I don't understand him. I don't really know anything about how he was raised or anything like that. So to me, it's hard for me to have an understanding for somebody that I don't know. Mm-hmm. You know, and I feel like if somebody's gonna be in your life to a certain extent, that you should know them, right?
You should, but
it doesn't always happen that way. But that's how I feel.
Exactly.
You know?
And maybe that's just
And I can't even fault my mom because at the end of the day, she didn't know her dad. She did know her dad, but he wasn't in her life. Like, he didn't raise her, so she didn't know him until way later. You know what I mean? Like, she knew who he was, but he never was like a father figure to her. Her stepdad was a father figure to her, you know? So with that being said, it's like, you know, maybe I think that my mom probably felt like certain things may have been acceptable because that's all she knew. And she probably didn't really think that we would be impacted that much because of the fact that we had a father.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I can't really fully blame her either. I could just only talk about how I felt. I feel like now my mother probably realizes to a certain extent the damage that may have been done to a certain extent. I think that she really understands it now. But but it's okay because I don't really blame her. I don't blame anyone. I really don't. It's just that I feel like it's ultra important to try as an individual. You know what I mean? Like, you should try. You know, and it's not the child's responsibility to form that relationship.
No.
You know? But in the way my upbringing was, I feel like the adults have an expectation of how the kids should be and act. Meanwhile, you're not realizing that you're the adult, so you should lead in that.
Absolutely.
Like, because I remember we were young, and he'd be like, oh, that's your aunt. Go give her a hug and kiss. And I'm like, I don't know her. I don't want to give her a hug and kiss. But that's my culture. Like, anybody that was an adult, you have to give them a kiss.
Yeah. I mean, I do that
Not on the cheek. It's just for respect.
Yeah.
Anybody that you cross paths with, that's an adult, you have to give respect. Kiss their cheek. Whether they be family, close family, friends, whatever. Now that I do that to a certain extent, but I try not to impress my children too much with that. I try not to force them to do things too much, because it's just like, you know, I can't force them to have a connection with somebody that's not trying to form it with them. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
You know? So with that being said, it's like the kids will come to that, but I want it to be a natural, not a force. You know what I mean? You know, it has to be a natural connection to people, you know? And if the people want to have that connection with my child, then they will try on their own. Like, it's not up to my child, and I'm not going to force it. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about, you know? Whew. So yeah, any more you want to add to this whole topic, since I know I've been ranting this whole time?
I love you. You can rant.
Love you too.
You're so cute.
I had a lot to say, clearly.
Let it out, baby. Let it out.
No, this was very therapeutic for me, though.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We talked it out.
Yeah, we talked it out. I'm good.
Like the walk it out.
Talk it out. I talk it out. I talk it out.
Booty dance, get up and pop it. I'm joking.
Yeah, y'all don't want to see that. Well,
might.
y'all might, but we're not doing that today.
Hun won't like that.
Nah. He'll have a big issue with that.
Hun, but like, you better sit your ass down.
Sit it down.
You booty.
Sit it down, girl.
Sit your booty down.
Set it
bleep
down.
That do you know how to bleep? You know how to bleep?
I don't know.
Bleep. Alright, guys. Well, thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you so much. We love and appreciate you guys so much.
Yeah, we do. We really do.
Yes. Love. So continue to support us, and you know, anything that you wanna us to talk about as far as new topics, let us know. We're actually thinking about doing vlogs and stuff like that to kind of go through a day in the life of Christine and Shy, to see what we kind of go through and experience. So, you know, stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up.
Yeah.
So yeah, so thank you so much. Peace, love, and blessings, and have an amazing week. Love you guys. Bye.
Oh, subscribe.